feels like the weather got warmer. Summer trying to come back. I guess with that in mind, what did I read today? It's kind of interesting reading this one actually. Apparently there was some video captures of killer whales going after white sharks, and just from what I gathered, they say this is kind of like a big deal per se because it was actually captured on film, which actually makes you think when you read how it was done. It says here, direct observation of killer whales predating on white sharks and evidence of a flight response. So you can see in the video, as they say, this capture shows that there's a bunch of killer whales going after these sharks, and it says here in terms of how it was captured, the first one here says, on the 16th of May 2022 at 14 hours 36 minutes, author CS, a hobbyist drone pilot, filmed a group of killer whales at Artemis Beach and Rivermouth, Mossel Bay, South Africa, using a private drone, which was a DJI Mavic Air 2S according to this, and it says 5 killer whales were observed for around 40 minutes and the drone followed them for a total of 30 minutes. Due to drone memory and battery constraints, only the 2 segments described here were recorded. Initially, the group of 5 killer whales were together but separated as direct observations began with KW1 and KW2 began moving 500 meters east towards the Hartenbos River mouth, a known high-use area for white sharks. The drone first flew over 3 of the 5 killer whales, 400 meters off the Hartenbos beach, and started recording. The following event was filmed as a single clip with all 3 whales continuously visible in the frame. And this was apparently the interesting part, I assume, where for the whales, it says they used its rostrum to push an estimate 3 meters total length white shark to the surface from the ventral side while rolling the shark to its right side. The shark appeared dead as KW5 brought it up to the surface, with the shark's white underbelly partially visible. KW5 bit into the shark in the region of the pectoral fins and a large cloud of blood appeared. And I guess for the second type of capture, there was actually a helicopter, and from what I gather, it was a tourist helicopter, and so they recorded it on a phone. Because here anyways, it says the Archer of Mossel Bay helicopters flew a series of short tourist flights over the same area of Hartenbos. The pilot witnessed 2 white sharks being killed by killer whales, but neither was fully captured on film. However, using a Samsung S21 cell phone, the pilot captured a series of images and short video clips, which partially captured the interactions between 4 of the killer whales described above and several white sharks. So what got me thinking here is with this article, in terms of how people captured it, like it says it was from a hobbyist drone pilot. Imagine all those people, as I mentioned before, where they say, oh, it's scientific fact, where if you fly the drone, I don't know, 80 meters in the air, it gives the animal a heart attack, so you should never do that. Yet here, it's pretty clear the person got pretty close by the looks of it, and at the same time, they captured something spectacular that was very, I guess you could say, educational as well, and they could use it for research in other ways. Now imagine if they weren't allowed to do this. All those people with these, I don't know, weird quote science saying, 100% it gives them a heart attack. I would imagine here, just based on the situation, the animals probably wouldn't care too much, especially with the way the person's flying and all that. But again, just look at all the people who say you should never do this, etc., etc. It's another example too. More people could use it in a good way, and I wouldn't doubt, like in these cases, more hobbyists or people just capture stuff like this by accident. It just makes me think again, even with all these examples that keep piling up, whatever quote science or whatever that some people are trying to imply, it just doesn't make sense when you look at all the proof. It just comes down to, in my opinion, from the looks of it, jealousy. Where when people capture something spectacular, then they use those as a reason or an excuse to say, hey, you can't do this, but for some reason you can. And the other thing I read today, I wasn't following this too much, but I know there was something going on with like hockey organizations. And then I read this one, says Hockey Canada executives need to leave before they burn the organization to the ground, minister says. So apparently there's a ton of, I guess, large companies pulling out things like, I guess, sponsorship and support, because it says the federal sport minister is ramping up her criticism of those leading Hockey Canada, an organization accused of mishandling allegations of gang rapes, by urging them to vacate their positions before the sports body is damaged beyond repair. Wow, doesn't that sound corrupt? Get out of here before they do like investigations. I hope they understand the message and leave before they burn it to the ground. Pascal St. Onge said Thursday before a cabinet meeting on Parliament Hill. Her comments are just the latest salvo aimed at the national ice hockey body. Gang rape. I was trying to read, I guess, a little more about this, and there are a lot of accusations, I guess, of sexual abuse, I guess you could say. That's kind of crazy though. Especially like here, it's so public and you tell people, oh, try to hide from it, like get away per se, if that's the case. I guess in general, there's nothing immune to huge controversy or anything like that, huh? There's always something going on underneath, I guess, behind the scenes that you're just oblivious to. Alright, see you guys later.